Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another overly caffeinated episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jamie.
And I am your other host, Mark.
Thank you so much for joining us, and I just want to say ahead of time that before we even begin anything here, massive amount of spoilers. We are not
massive. There's a decent amount.
There's just... I wouldn't want to listen to this if I didn't want to know something, so if you want to know anything about ROH... the new Ring of Honor and the upcoming recordings of it, come back to this later.
Yeah.
Until Friday next week.
Everything that we'll be talking about we'll have posted Thursday, I
believe it's March 2nd.
March 2nd, which will be the first televised episode of Ring of Honor, the new con regime of Ring of Honor, because we attended on Saturday the first two show tapings.
Yeah, Coffee and Wrestling was able to be a part of literal wrestling history.
For real.
It was just unbelievable. And rather than go over the usual AEW and WWE antics and things that happened for the week, we just thought we would talk about like our personal experience, everything that really happened, what the backstage kind of vibe was like, what it was like to be there for a pre-recorded show.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Now, break down the fourth wall even more. This was recorded in the same studio in Orlando, Florida, that Impact has been recorded. I'm not sure if it's where it's recorded now, but looking at it, I can see that it probably is. If you've ever been to an Impact recording, especially back in, about 10, 15 years ago when it was TNA, it's the same sound stage, so it's a very like small, personal, like area, but it was really well done. It was like being at a local show or something. But it had that local show feel.
Very professional.
You didn't need the announcers, or I'm sorry, not the announcers, the commentators to really like sell the story home. It was nice because it was just, the matches were just matches, and a lot of it was just good. It was really good. It was refreshing. It wasn't a WWE, AEW, although it was, AEW adjacent. But it didn't feel like this overproduced wrestling show. It felt like you said, it felt like a local show. It felt like you got a couple of big stars. You had some local talent. You had like the guys that you expect to be in the promotion.
It was a highly produced indie show, which in all reality is what ROH has really always felt like.
Well, that's what it's like famous for.
Even sometimes, that you'd have like the shitty cameras at the gymnasiums, and the best ROH matches happen like that. So. But this was just like an actual sound stage on the side of Universal Studios near Hard Rock. Just to give you a vibe, we had about a 2-hour drive. Unfortunately, we're running late.
Of course,
if you are from Florida, you've been to Universal, and the walk from where'd we park? Jaws.
The Jaws
to Hard Rock
419, and then we had to briskly walk.
No, that wasn't brisk. My heart was pounding out of my chest.
But if you are in the Florida area, anywhere within about 2-3 hours of Orlando, like, honest to God, look into when they come. They do it again, because I believe they recorded 4 full episodes.
Looks like a month's worth.
Yeah, it looks like about
taping.
a month. We got a preview of a couple of things that might be on Supercard of Honor coming up on March 31st.
And that we're not going to talk about. I think some things. Despite, if you want to find it, go out there. There's a ton of
I've got a website of f4wonline.com that literally gives me a list
know
of
everything
every match.
You can find out, but I mean, I think there are some really good things that need to build on their own.
As we're speaking right now, they are getting ready to start recording not only AEW Dark, but the second 2 episodes of ROH. So that hasn't even happened yet. So I don't think we'll end up watching the spoilers of the second day.
No. I think we're the type of people that, we have a joke. We have this running joke that there's this guy that we know, and he always tells us spoilers, and we're like, God, don't be like him. Like, don't tell us the spoilers.
Randy understands that reference. You can't be Chris.
Some people like to do that, and that's cool. If you want to do it, go ahead. But we're not trying to ruin a bunch of cool stuff.
No.
So for me personally, I think there's some interactions that really, honest to God, happened last night that you just need to let fester, grow on its own.
Oh yeah,
let the tumor grow.
And I've said it before. There's been seeds have been planted, and I would hate to take that surprise away from anybody, because it was nice being able to be a part of ROH. But now we know the next 2 televised episodes, we're going to be able to. We're already going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's exciting.
We already know who's coming out and who's calling who out.
By the way, if you don't have it, Ring of Honor is going to be debuting on I believe they call it the Honor Club. Yep. So you're able to pay for that. I believe it's
like $10,
$9.99 a month. But not only, and we're not being paid to tell you this, but not only do you get everything that's current, you also get everything that past that happens. They have collections. They have Briscoe's collection, Christopher Daniels, Bryan Danielson, all these people that have been a part of ROH that you can go back and watch all the legendary matches.
Oh yeah, they have their entire video catalog is available on the Honor Club.
And that's the great thing that Tony Khan did was when he bought ROH, he now owns all of that backlog, which means he now owns all of the stuff that they used in All In.
Right.
Their first pay-per-view. So.
Which is great because that was never really able to be used until now.
Exactly.
And now it's all, and you can see the history, the progression, and we could go on for days
but
about
first
that.
of all, just get yourself that. That's how you're going to be able to watch ROH. Anyways, they're debuting on Thursdays. Don't believe we've had a time yet.
I don't know if there is a time. I think it's just going to be Thursday. It's going to post, but who knows? Also, we're going to be, by the time you'll hear this, we'll have posted Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're going to post a couple of the photos that I took. I tried not to take a lot of photos while doing stuff like this. I'm not much of a photo guy, but at the same time, I wanted to kind of capture the moment.
Yeah, but you got to live in it too, you know.
Right. So I would I hit a couple of pictures for the intros of a bunch of people. Got like 1 or 2 videos. So I'm going to post a couple of things on the social medias. That's at CAW Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Just so you can kind of see some of the things that we are talking about, get an idea.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll just start off by saying, like we said, we parked. We were unfortunately, about 30 minutes late by the time we did get in there.
By absolutely no fault of our own.
No, if you've been on the turnpike, you fucking know. Like, you know.
We were already pushing time. We had some time constraints. We had birthday parties to attend.
Yep. Happy birthday, Grandma.
Don't have kids.
Not that you're listening.
Don't have kids because all they do is slow you down. But we had some time constraints, but we still left in time. And of course, Florida Turnpike being the Florida Turnpike, nobody knows how to drive. Somebody got into an accident, closed up one lane of the southbound lane, and we got stuck in like 20 minutes of traffic, which you wouldn't think is that bad, but in the state of Florida, it seems like it's forever. It might just be everywhere. Maybe I'm just biased because I can't stand Florida drivers. But go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're already late. We show up, and the like I said, super nice production, small indie feel, but the production level was great. The people that worked the event were great. We will talk a little bit more about the sound people, but the people that like showed you where your seats were and everything were really professional. We bought tickets, and there's no assigned seating, so it's pretty much you show up.
Buying tickets was a fucking breeze. You go to ROHTix.com
or
AWTIX.
Yeah, real easy. So there's no assigned seats. So we wanted to get there early, but of course, messed that up already. Thank you, Florida.
Yeah. So of course we're thinking we're gonna get like the shitty boo-boo seats that are not the greatest, which there's not even really nosebleed. It's more of Little League Baseball stands all the way around the ring.
And it's funny because, if you've ever been to any type of show like that, any type of AEW, WWE, any type of indie show, there's always 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, where the crowd goes. There's no crowd on the camera side.
Or very little. Like you got a lot of production crew.
It was just the production
crew,
yeah. So if you think about it, it's just the 2 sides and the camera side that you can see. There really wasn't that many people. So we get there, they're like, have you had your seats yet? And we're like, no, I haven't got our seats. And they're like, all right, follow me. And then it's follow this guy and follow this guy. And finally we're down by the floor. And they're like, honestly, here's 2 seats.
But tell me you didn't feel a little bit of royalty as we're walking through. Nobody else is there. And the entire crew, like everybody's looking at you, waiting for you to get to their checkpoint. And they're like, oh, follow me, please. And then they turn and
bring
you're
you
like,
to the next checkpoint.
And you walk up and you walk into the crowd and they're just like looking around for seats for you. And it's just like, damn, I ain't even got to think about this. They're just going to put my butt in a seat. Like,
yeah, I figured you have to find your own seat and make the best, but they're recording, so they want it to look good. So I'm just standing there, and they're like,
so you actually,
right here.
Actually, so that means on the first episode, I didn't even think about this.
I'm just standing there on
you might see a shot of us just standing there like doofuses,
confused.
Like, what are we doing? Because you even looked at me and was like, do I follow him?
Because we were going way down. I was like, oh, man. So long story short, you are 1,000% going to see me in my green hair. Basically,
just to the right.
Whenever you see anybody come out for their entrance, look over to the right a little bit, and
well, every
green hair. There's Mark.
They did the good guy bad guy hole again. You have left side, right side, and every face that came out, they all came out on the right side. So
we're right there. So long story short, we got fantastic.
We got amazing
seats. So
seats.
again,
we got really good.
When
seats.
you see the pictures, you can't even see anybody that's like literally next to us or in front of us. It looks like we're right there.
We got a great combination of being able to see the ring, having very few people in front and behind us, as well as having such a good shot of the entrance ramp.
Yeah.
Because I was on the outside, so it was nice was whenever, somebody would come out, you'd stand up to see, and I was able to stand up and step outside of the chairs, and I had the entire like walkway to stand in. So it gave me like all the room in the world, and then behind me is when the stands started to cascade up, so people were already above my head sitting down while I was standing up, so I was able to get, whatever shot I wanted, take my time with pictures. I probably deleted more pictures than I ended up keeping just because they were like random, like the shots
so
in
easy
between.
To get, yeah.
So we had amazing seats, but
great start.
But anywhere you went in that arena, it would have been an arena that a sound stage, whatever you want to call it. You would have had a great view.
There's no bad spot.
No, not at all.
Now, mind you, even before we even got to the walk, okay, we shoved our stomachs full like children. Well, not like children, but
I am a child.
Chicken nuggies, all right?
Chicken nuggies.
We got a 20-piece scarf. We had a full bag of some Jack Link's teriyaki beef jerky. We only ate half. We saved the other half.
Real quick side note.
Yeah.
Fuck big beef jerky. It is so goddamn expensive.
It was like $13
for that bag of fucking jerky.
I mean, it kept our bellies full, but we were like chipmunks with beef jerky in our bellies. Maybe a few edibles were added in there. Who knows? And then we walked in. Okay, so now we're at this point. I had a dress on, and I had fruit snacks in there. So we were prepared.
That was our only saving grace.
We were prepared. Halfway through, we were like, we are so thirsty, but we're not getting up. And I went, I have fruit snacks.
Yeah.
In my bag, so I hope they didn't catch that.
It was enough to generate enough saliva to get us through to the other thing, because it was a 4-hour endeavor.
A 4-hour.
We got there a little
event.
Bit late. We got there. What'd you say, about 6:30?
It was 6:30, but it was 10:30 when it was over.
We ended up missing 2 matches, and yeah,
what a bummer.
And the 2 matches we missed really sucked.
Well, yeah, let's talk about some of the things and some of the people that we were able to see there.
All right, so
now first off,
hold on real quick. If that's the case, then right here, this is the border.
Yeah, this
if you
is the
have listened
end.
and you have not listened to us talking about that there are spoilers, this is your fucking fault that you got spoiled on shit. I don't want to hear it after this.
Again, it's out there.
At this point, it's what? 13 minutes and 5 seconds into the podcast. If you have not admitted that you are okay with spoilers, you can suck a fart out of my butt.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Okay, so now we can talk about
Coffee
who was
and wrestling.
there.
I have had
some
way
of the things
too much
that happened. All right. So before the actual event happened, the only thing that we really knew, Tony Khan said that Mark Briscoe was going to be a part of the first episodes of
Right. It didn't say
ROH.
Didn't say in what capacity.
No. Also, that was literally it.
Yep.
I tried to look up as many things as I could.
You ended up finding out that the kingdom was doing a meet and greet there,
Yep,
so it was safe to assume that they were going to be involved.
Exactly.
They did end up. This is one of the matches we ended up missing.
Well, unfortunately, the 2 matches we missed were Mark Briscoe versus Slim J, and the
Kingdom took on the Infantry, which consists of Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, who you've seen on AEW and AEW Dark.
Love Sean Dean.
Sean Dean actually has a victory over MJF, or 2 victories, if I remember right. That's right. Where's his title shot?
Yeah, for real. So unfortunately, the 2 matches that we knew were going to be there, we missed.
Right, which sucks.
We had the billionaire shuffle, or billionaire stride, as you would say, as we walked down to our just like front row, luxury seats.
We invoked our best Karen power walk.
It was good.
Getting through City Walk. We were duck diving. I probably pissed off 3 or 4 full-grown adults with shoulder checks because
we were getting
people are fucking rude.
Yeah.
This is why we don't go. This is why I don't go outside. Theme parks are worse, but then you involve alcohol and ice cream that's out in front of the theme park, and basically, you get volatile individuals.
At Universal, they have a spot there called City Walk, and basically you can go to it without paying to go into Universal, and they have shitty restaurants, an ice cream place that's sticky with the floor.
There's a Voodoo Donut there, and I've heard good things about Voodoo Donut. I'm not a huge donut guy, but there was a line longer for Voodoo Donut than there was in their rides in Universal.
Yeah, or people in ROH. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God, it was awful.
Anyways, here we go getting distracted by damn disgusting, rude people and nasty places at Universal. Anyways.
I bet you the caffeine and edibles has something to do with it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, that probably did it. So anyways, we do the Karen billionaire shuffle down to our just awesome seats and look up, and I feel like, when you like sit down and you drink a cup of tea, like you imagine like English people drink a cup of tea, like, yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes, like snobby.
Right.
We sat down and we're like, yes, it's Zack Sabre Jr. Like, It was just like the most like, we know exactly what's going on. It was so dumb.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, like we never skipped a beat. Like it was ridiculous. But Zack Sabre Jr. was fighting Blake Christian. I don't know how far into it. We were about halfway through it.
It felt like, honestly, they had just started because they put on a hell of a match.
Yeah, we heard people cheering when we first walked in, so I think that last match had ended.
And it was Zack Sabre Jr. was defending his title. He's the NJPW TV champion.
Correct.
It was a really good match. Like instantly, we walked in and it was like, granted, we got there a little bit late, like I said, but it was right into it, and then they never skipped a beat ever since then. It was just, there was maybe a 2-minute interval in between matches, and even when they were like changing when shows were like, okay, that was the end of this show, here's the next show. And I think it was
very productive.
I think there was a couple of matches that's like dark matches for ROH. I don't think they're going to televise every single one of them, because we watched, I think you totaled it up, it was 14 matches. I don't know if all of those matches are going to make it on there, because I think it was after that match, they said that I can't remember the announcer's name, came out and said, okay, we're going to start this episode, we're going to start recording, your main event's going to be this, we're also going to have this tonight, and you're also going to see this. It felt like that was the start of the recording of the new first episode. You know what I mean? Right.
By the way, it was Bobby Cruz who was the announcer.
Thank you for correcting me.
Again, if you don't know, now you know. So I think in your mind, like, all right, we knew we were going to ROH again. We don't know who's going to be there.
But you kind of had an idea.
Can't help but be like dead set, like, well, you really hope,
especially with AEW, especially with AEW having like a 30% ROH roster,
right?
You had an idea, like, okay, there's going to be certain people that have been involved with ROH for years.
But again, like the forbidden door is open, so it could be anybody.
Right.
Like it's, of course, there's obvious ROH people that you feel are going to be there, but then again,
especially when
many people show up that I'm telling you, you are not going to believe actually were there.
Especially when Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, even that was
is
like
the NJPW TVW or TV championship is defending his title. Like,
right.
Okay, like
Blake Christian's been on AEW quite a bit.
But we had one of a mainstay,
the legend, the man,
the fallen angel,
and one of the people you hope you were going to see,
Christopher Daniels,
and that gnarly black eye.
Eye, man! If you haven't seen, look up. We talked about it. He sustained an injury, blood and eye, red. It looks dope as fuck, and I wish that would have happened to him 20 years ago, because that would have been such a good character.
Good gimmick.
Like, oh my god,
such a nice guy. It
reminds me of. Did you ever see Last Action Hero? It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie back when, like, in the mid 90s. The bad guy, I cannot remember who it is, but he was like this redheaded guy, and he had a red eye in his left eye, and it was the creepiest like bad guy.
Okay.
He wore like a white suit. He would be perfect like for that. The eyes, it's so good. So good. But he ended up wrestling Rohit Raju, which I've seen him on ROH, seen him on AEW Dark, seen him on AEW. We actually ran into him when we went to see...
we went to Revolution.
Was it Revolution?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. When we saw Revolution, we ran into him. He was eating something, we didn't like sit there and talk to him. We ain't friends with him, but...
Yeah.
Always good to see him on TV.
Yeah,
good to see them utilizing ROH.
Being used, and unfortunately, I just can't think of the guy off the top of my head that normally they had him trying to go with Matt Hardy for a while, and he ended up bringing him out to the ring. I can't remember his name.
Right. I can't remember. He came out with him. Good to see him like an active person, because he's an impressive athlete.
Yeah.
Somebody will have to look it up. It doesn't matter.
Our apologies.
We didn't do our homework, apparently.
Yeah.
Good match between the two of them. But then we also had, next match was Josh Woods came out, which he's been a mainstay in ROH for a good couple of years now, even before the pandemic.
Great talent.
And then we were treated to the first of many surprises.
Oh, man.
Fucking Konosuke Takeshita came out.
I couldn't believe it. It was one of the best pops of the night. Everybody... I mean, there were so many good pops of the night that we were just like, what the hell?
This was one of the best.
We were not, none of us were expecting Takeshita.
No.
We should have known there was a Cinnabon when you walk in.
Yeah, it's part of City Walk. There's a Cinnabon there.
We even said if he was there, I would have bought you one.
If we ever catch you at Cinnabon, we got you on whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Great match between the two of them. Like an absolute, like, thought these two died numerous times. Takeshita hit, what was it? I think it was double underhook DDT on the apron. Oh,
These two were so hard hitting, and honestly my favorite matches of the night, even though it was like one of the first matches we ended up seeing.
Singles match, 100%. But
So
if we're talking tag match or favorite match of the night, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
A great match between those two. We also saw.
Well, let me preface before you even say what's happening.
Okay.
So next we see 3 guys line up on the side, no entrance, start to walk up. Hate to say it. No offense, but
Jobbers.
we already know. Line up the jobbers.
So
there was 3 dudes that get no entrance. We knew it was going to be a squash. So I went, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them. What 3 guys would come out and squash these dudes,
Well, there's a few. There's a few 3-man tag teams, and you've got the Kingdom, but we didn't know they had wrestled at this point. Well, not that.
No. What do you think? Maria's going to go in there too? I mean, she could have
some of
those.
The three of those dudes, they probably would have wished it was Maria Kanellis they were fighting. I would have loved to rather get my ass whooped by Maria Kanellis than the 3 men. You're right. Because if I remember right, these three poor individuals, 2 of them got thrown out, and I think one of them just got the absolute victim of 3 of the meatiest men in wrestling right now.
And let me tell you what, you think these guys are big on TV?
Ooh, damn.
We were thrilled because it was big meaty men time.
It was the Embassy with Toa Leona, Brian Cage, and Khan. And man, I'll tell you what, I got 2 things to say about this before we go any further. I need to get Toa Leona's number. And I need to get his leg workout. That man's got hamstrings that would put Christmas dinners to fucking shame.
Oh, yeah.
And number 2, and Jamie admitted this today, these are some beefy, good-looking dudes. Khan
you thought was beautiful on TV. Let me say this again. Even more beautiful in person.
Oh, man. These are some beefy dudes. Like, if you've never been in the presence of somebody who has put in the time, the effort, and has
it is impressive.
Done what they need to do to improve their body to physiques like these guys. Like, my God. I mean, even Toa Leona, not the most cut dude in the world, but talk about big. The dude looks like a Mack truck and moves like a fucking Prius.
Oh, yeah. And when Brian Cage yells, "Who's the machine?"
Everybody knows.
It's the fucking truth. The Brian Cage.
So these guys just tore through. They tore through these poor. Like I said, I think 2 of them got like the.
These guys have
treatment.
Names.
They've got names. It was LSG, Joe Keys, and Rex Lawless.
Okay.
I've heard of LSG and Rex Lawless.
Yeah, LSG looked familiar.
LSG looked like a guy that I was in the Marine Corps with that still owes me $100 because he got a stupid Godsmack tattoo on his forearm. And if I find out it's you, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking dick.
So you paid for this guy's Godsmack tattoo?
Yeah.
You know what? You got paid.
Yeah. Did I?
You got paid back.
Did I?
Let's just hope that Godsmack tattoo is still out there.
He also slept with another guy that was in the Marines with us, and that dude found out before the MPs could show up, and he beat the living shit out of him.
Oh, that's a horrible story.
No. He beat the shit out of the guy that slept with his wife. Doesn't matter.
Oh, you lost me there.
Back to wrestling.
It was 3 guys. I didn't see their faces. They got thrown out before the match. I honestly didn't even think there was going to be a match. So
yeah, it was a good one though. It was a good squash match. These guys, they made these 3 look really good.
Yeah, they did. They did their job.
We also saw the Trustbusters, Ari Daivari.
The richest man in sports entertainment.
Yep, he took on Grand Metalik. We had Madison Rayne and Sky Blue taking on the Renegades, and I was more impressed with the Renegades than I had expected.
I mean, I had to say, I was really impressed with Madison Rayne and Sky Blue, too. I mean,
oh, yeah.
The energy that those 2 have developed over the last few months, Sky Blue is just super entertaining in person. I think at one point you actually said that the last time you had been in that place that we were to do the taping, that you had seen Madison Rayne fight for TNA.
Right,
so it's funny to see her in ROH.
She went from just being a talent on a show to being one of the ones that, like, is in the back kind of, like, bestowing her knowledge of
developing
experience.
The new talent,
Right.
So
I'll tell you what, like I said, I was very impressed with the Renegades. Not that I was expecting anything less from them. Every time they've been on AEW Dark or on Dynamite or Rampage, they have done exactly what they need to do. They're consistent. They actually just won the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, so congratulations to them. So they do have they're great talents.
Yeah, they are.
But I don't know if it's the TV or what it is, but they looked better. Like as an entire tag team, their look was better.
Yep.
Their performance was better. I think being able to hear them, interact with each wrestler in the match.
These girls are like natural born heels.
Oh, 100%.
Let me tell you what. So there's not a lot of camera like on them when you first walk out. And there were 2 kids that we were sitting next to. There was this adorable little girl and this
God.
adorable little boy. They
this
were
is
both
post-match.
Definitely. This is pre-match.
Was it? Oh, that's right.
This
it
is
was pre-match.
These kids are like, oh my God, 6 and like 10. Like they're
adorable.
Young.
They
Not
were,
brother and sister.
They were. If there was anybody in that place last night that was like cheering on somebody, it was one of these 2 kids. They
were great.
The most adorable thing in the world.
They were in on the chants and everything. And I can't remember which one of the Renegades comes down and she looks at both of these adorable kids and she said, "You're both ugly." And
just
I
so funny.
am like dying because, okay, I'm a parent. I have a little girl. I have a little boy. I can sympathize 100% with what's going on. And she just unprovoked, for no reason, just told both of these
they were
children
doing some like little kid thumbs down stuff.
they were ugly. And I was like, wow, they commit so hard to this.
Right?
Like, I instantly was like, I like them. But
they're great.
That was horrible. And just to let you know, I did hear the mom and dad look over at the little girl and they were like, were you upset about that? That girl looked over with 2 like little blonde pigtails, didn't skip a beat and went, no.
Yeah. They were into it.
Adorable.
But
they
that's
were
something.
into it.
That's something right there that to those 2 girls, it probably meant nothing to make that gesture towards them.
Yeah.
But that right there could make or break a wrestling fan for life. That is something that a little kid would be like, "Yo, I remember when that girl like looked me in the face and said, 'Yo, you suck.'"
Yeah.
And like that's what like stuck with you in order to be like, "No, I'm gonna see." I want to make sure these girls get their ass kicked every week. So they watch wrestling every week to watch these girls get their ass kicked.
Yep.
And that's what
I'm
makes
now
a wrestling
dedicated
fan.
to you losing.
Right. But it's
forever.
Those little moments like that. And that's what was great about this show was it felt like one of those, like every time somebody came to the back, if they were near the edge of the crowd, they were dapping out on people. They were hitting everybody. Those 2 kids you're talking about, everybody that came up the ramp, because they were right on the fence of the ramp. Every single person came out. They gave them a high five, or they like made a face at them.
Most of them, and I do have to say, I'm going to give absolute credit to the biggest man in the room, Toa Leona. You are walking out. You were up the ramp. You were leaving.
Time to leave.
You turned around and you dapped those kids. Props to you, man.
Yep.
You're fucking awesome.
Yep.
That was really cool. So yeah, a lot of people did acknowledge the kids, but they told them that they were ugly, and I was committed to the entire match. So great heat. Props to these girls. It was a really cool vibe, like with so few people. So I was telling Mark, you had to really work the crowd to make people like you or hate you. And they worked the crowd to make them hate you.
With the size of the crowd they had, it was very dependent on the crowd to make the show more exciting than what it was. And not that it wasn't exciting, but the crowd was one of the biggest parts of the matches. And you'll see a couple of the matches, crowd's not really into it and it kind of falls flat.
Yeah.
But when the crowds are there was a couple of matches that there was like just chants the entire time, and it really made or break the matches.
Yeah. We were blessed to see Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman. We didn't get to hear from, but Ian Riccaboni.
Ian Riccaboni rocking some fire Jordan.
You even got a picture of that.
I took some time. They're not the greatest of pictures. I have an Android. Fucking iPhone aficionados are gonna like lance me through the microphone, but it's $100 Android phone, so give me a little bit of a break here. But he had some slick Jordans on.
Yep.
Keep him with the red and black color scheme too.
I know, right? With the ROH,
so good.
So
I love Ian Riccaboni.
He's great. So Ian's in the ring.
Real quick.
Yes.
There was a point in time, and I don't know if we even talked about this. There was a point in time where Jamie just started cracking up laughing when Ian Riccaboni was on TV. And I looked at her and I was like, what is your deal?
What did I do?
I was like, what's your problem? She thought his name was Riccaboni.
Oh, at one point?
You didn't think his name was Ian Riccaboni.
No. This wasn't today. I thought you meant
No, not today. This was like
ROH.
months ago.
Oh, yeah. This was when we first started going on
and when
AEW.
he was on AEW
I couldn't
commentary.
Find him. I was like, wow, that was like so entertaining because we really never watched ROH before, really knew who the announcers were. I was like, wow, that guy was so entertaining.
And they always referred him as Riccaboni.
So I kept looking for him on like Twitter, like, Rick Abani. I don't understand. At any rate,
sorry.
I'm a huge fan. He comes out, things are going to get super exciting. He's going to bring somebody out, and he announces that his first guest is the ROH Pure Champion, Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
Shing! Let me tell
Love
you what.
That entrance.
That
oh my
entrance
God.
Is sick.
16-year-old me is like holding my fake ass samurai sword and just going, shing, Wheeler Yuta.
Oh.
So good.
Oh. great.
But he comes out, he starts talking trash, kind of that borderline, heel, not heel. Basically says needs a challenge. Like the pure champions, like he's tired of these jabronis. And fucking lo and behold, who comes out? Probably the least jabroni individual that's going around the circuit right now. Fucking Timothy Thatcher and his missing teeth.
And let me tell you what, he was literally, I looked over at Mark and I was like, don't mean to be rude, but I think he's wearing one of your outfits.
Yeah, right. He was wearing a gray Walmart Fruit of the Loom t-shirt.
Wasn't the right size.
It was like a size too small.
Yep, he needed an XL. He was wearing a large.
He was
clearly
wearing a pair of not the cleanest Dickies.
Yep.
And a pair of boots. I mean, literally what I would wear on a daily basis.
No flair. He didn't need it.
No Rick.
He didn't need it, but no Rick.
No Rick. Little flair.
He challenged Wheeler Yuta for the ROH Pure Championship belt, and bless us, because we were there for the second show, we actually were told we were going to see that match. Which
is always funny when you see something like this, and this used to happen with Impact, and it happens with Dark too if you go there. They're recording for the first episode, so you had the promo of Wheeler Yuta, and here comes Timothy Thatcher, and they're like, next week, I'm going to take you on for the Pure Championship. And then, like 40 minutes goes by, a couple matches, and then they start the next episode, and they're like, all right, well, here's your championship match, and one of them will come out and be like, I told you I'm going to take you that title, and that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight. And it's like, okay, if you didn't know, and I'm sure there's some kids that were like, younger kids that don't know the inner workings of everything. It's kind of like one of those, wait, I thought that was next week. You got to kind of know the inner workings, and you don't get confused.
Understandable.
With it. But great match. Great match. Not going to spoil who's going to win.
Absolutely not.
Timothy Thatcher takes on Wheeler Yuta for the championship, for the Pure Championship, and they bring it to its absolute limits. Everybody, like these two, put on. It was a fucking fight.
It was a brawl. And again, we're talking about people looking even better in person. Timothy Thatcher. Wow. Or Thatcher, yep. I'm sorry. Timothy Thatcher. Chiseled out of stone, man.
Right. Oh my God.
Impressive.
Just awesome.
Impressive.
Awesome.
Let me just say the match put them both
men.
over. It wasn't a one-sided match in any way. It wasn't put over Wheeler. It wasn't put over Timothy. It put them both over.
Yep.
Made them both look great. Watch the match and you find out what happened.
Great match.
And moving on with another Blackpool Combat member. Man, this was insane.
It's already been announced, so everybody already knows, so I don't want to hear shit. It was the main event.
Claudio Castagnoli versus AR Fox. AR Fox, you're not listening, but I just want to tell you, I'm such a big fan. I love this guy. The absolute 8-year-old.
Because
when I saw that AR Fox was going to be there.
Because we didn't know about this
so
match.
Excited.
We didn't know about this match until they announced it.
Yeah, they said your main event for tonight is going to be Claudio versus AR Fox.
And the crowd went ape shit. When they said Claudio and then they said AR Fox, and you were probably the loudest out of the entire crowd. It was just great.
He's so good. You knew this match was going to be absolutely intense. Again, here we go again. I'm just talking about these men. Claudio in person. Holy crap. These guys.
You knew that. Even on TV, that man looks like he was literally thawed out of a
you're seeing the striations in Claudio's
his
shoulders.
Delts. Yeah, his delts. Oh my God, you literally could wash your clothes on the muscle fibers on his shoulders.
So you can see they look like strings.
And talk
insane.
About somebody who's taken the consideration of proportions. He hasn't overworked his arms, hasn't overworked his chest. His legs aren't too big.
No.
Like somebody like Toa Leona, his lower body is massive compared to his upper body. I'm not saying his upper body's small by any means, but his proportions aren't 100% in an aesthetic fashion.
Right.
But, these men just looked absolutely amazing. This match was by far one of the best matches on the night. Another champion we ended up seeing in action was Samoa Joe. Defended his title.
Yep.
His ROH TV title. The King of TV has graced us. He go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Claudio AR Fox match was the headlining match for
the championship.
For the first night. And then now we're on to what is considered the second week. And that is what we started off with.
Now, if they did this in order, then
it
would come up to where that would be the first match. I can't see that being the first match, but I don't know. Tony Khan,
he just loves it. By the way, Tony Khan was there.
He did show up. He thanked everybody showing up.
Every single AEW event we've ever been to.
Tiny man.
He comes out. He thanks everybody. He's just such a awesome dude to like take the time. I didn't even think he was going to necessarily be there, but he always does.
He came back out at the end of the show as well.
He did say in between the Claudio and the Samoa Joe match that there was going to be big talent and championship matches coming up. And I literally was like, then what the hell did we just watch?
And they brought out, I mean, I'll just spoil it. It's Tony Deppen came out.
Yeah.
And of course, at that point, they still hadn't announced it. And then they got on the microphone and said there's next matches for the ROH TV title. And the crowd, again,
we all went, Joe!
One of the biggest pops. So poppy that you peek out the mics terribly.
And like, seriously, like, wrap your head around this, okay? We're in ROH. We're in a new, like, era of wrestling. We have seen Claudio, and now we're on to Samoa Joe, and these are just two absolute fucking legends in wrestling. But these are two guys that were in WWE that really never got the love, the admiration, and the
accolades.
Yeah,
that they deserve.
Really should have. I mean, Claudio was in
what
WWE
an impressive athlete! Like even
for a long time.
I got a lot of good shots of him, and my God, what like both of these guys, what like impressive athletes, and same thing with Joe, like.
I mean, all these guys that have the belts, all these women that have the belts, like
there's a reason.
I'm telling you right now, it's
there's
not because
definitely
of the favoritism.
I mean, there's definitely a little bit.
But they're so incredible, and every single one of them backed it up.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have to reshoot anything botch-wise. There was no botches. There was nothing bad.
A couple of microphone fudges, but that was a sound issue. All right. I don't know what 2023, and even in the end of 2022, I feel like is like it's been plagued by mic issues.
Yeah, usually it's John Moxley. I don't know
John
why.
Moxley, Hulk Hogan had problems during I think Royal Rumble. They've had, I mean, every promotion has had bad microphone problems. AEW's been the worst, though.
We're just rolling right into it because I don't know about you. Have you ever been handed a microphone before, like you have to go and speak for something?
Oh, yeah. Terrifying.
Who hands you a mic that's off?
Well, I mean,
I'm convinced
that was a lot of the issue,
sense.
but I feel like as a performer who has to use a microphone, you would check that the microphone would be on, right?
But like, why should Tony Khan have to check if his mic's on? Why should Samoa Joe, look at this man, have to check if his mic is on?
Because it's a flick of the thumb.
No.
Well,
you
know what?
Have to.
Should I check to see if these microphones are on whenever we do the podcast?
Yeah. Then what are you talking about?
If they're talking into the microphones, they need to make sure their shit's working.
When you're about to hit a gnarly promo,
yeah,
you got to flip the mic over? That doesn't look cool.
Listen, if a thumb flick is what throws you off on a promo, maybe you shouldn't be a wrestler.
What if you do the thumb flick and the mic's on? Now you turn the mic off.
Then you throw it at the sound guy and you tell him you're fired when you get
Samoa Joe said that guy was fired.
Yes.
So.
But also, Joe ends up cutting just a spectacular promo.
Yep.
He's been, a big part of ROH.
Again, let's just remind you, this guy got released from WWE
twice in the same year.
He did get hired back within the same day that first time.
But still, how do you get fired twice from the same job within a year?
And he didn't even suck.
No. He didn't suck his job.
Like a phenomenal talent. I think that he was just in the wrong promotion because when he was in Impact TNA, he was loved and admired.
Right.
And he was loved and admired last night. Let me tell you what.
Oh, yeah. The people went apeshit for Joe.
Great.
Up next, we had one of the best parts of the night. Had 3 individuals come out. One of them looked like me. I think.
The other 2 look like Chris.
No. This is the other 3 guys. This Cody Chun. He's got 2 H's. Guillermo Rosas. I'm not. Oh my God, I am terrible at this. And Marcus Cross. I can say that one right. We've seen Marcus Cross on there, and I'm sure we've seen the other 2.
They pulled him straight out of the crowd.
They literally pulled Marcus Cross out of the crowd.
Looked like he was sitting with his parents.
He had some family there. He had some family, so good to him. I don't know if he's a local guy or if they were just in town and they're local, but good to see them. He got picked out of the crowd and brought into the ring, but it didn't matter because you had Send Me the Boys.
Bring me a boy.
Bring me a boy. Dalton Castle and the boys, your ROH 6-man tag champions.
They are not.
That's right.
That was the embassy.
Damn it, I've ruined it.
I know. I'm
a bad podcaster. Bad.
They won it.
Oh God, I peaked so bad there.
Yeah, they won it from the embassy.
They won it from the embassy. Or no, they lost to the embassy.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Now you're getting me fucked up.
The embassy won it from.
It's Dalton Castle on the
Dalton
boys.
Castle on the boys.
Send me a boy.
Bring me a boy.
Bring me a boy. Whatever. There was 2 boys. There should have been more boys.
There's 2 boys. They look like Chris Cab. If you don't know, now you know.
Chris Cav. Oh my God, Randy.
They both look like him.
Randy. He was just over earlier. Jay Koff was here.
Google it.
Google
it.
Google.
Why did they say it like that?
But we had.
Regardless, okay. So at this point, let me set it up. Let me set it up, babe. Set it up.
I think we've ruined the setup.
8:30.
Let's reconcile the setup.
9. It's getting late.
It's getting there.
And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to the ROH production crew for the amount of yawns that they probably had to edit out. Let me just preface.
I caught a yawn from Christopher Daniels, and I was not happy about it.
The Pure Championship match happened, and Christopher Daniels judged. Also, Colt Cabana was there. He got his moment, and I caught a yawn from Colt Cabana.
Yep. Colt Cabana, I'm pretty sure, was looking at his phone for like 30% of the time that match was going on. I looked over, and I got Jamie's attention. I was like, what do you think Colt Cabana's looking at right now? He was like just looking down.
I said, I think he's wondering if people like him on Twitter. But, yeah.
Love Colt Cabana.
No, love Colt Cabana.
But Dalton Castle and the boys, like the crowd.
Yeah, it's getting late. We're tired.
You could hear the mice fart. And this brought the crowd back up. Dalton, oh my God, I wish he was my hype man in life. He would just waking me up in the morning. That man would get me just so fucking going.
The boys were right there too. Like I didn't realize, like when you watch it on TV, you're like, wow, they're so entertaining. But like in person, Dalton Castle, if he was not in the ring fighting, he was outside of the ring hyping.
Oh yeah.
Dalton Castle was in the ring fighting, the boys were outside of the ring hyping. Like, the boys were fighting each other, like, trying to figure out who was tagging in.
Oh,
like,
yeah. They were...
If you just sat there and watched everybody was doing something the entire time.
And actually, Marcus Cross...
was so good.
He was the first one in. Him and Dalton Castle were the first two in the match. And they absolutely, like... I don't know if they had spoken before the match or something, but they were, like, running off of each other for a good, solid 3 minutes, just doing... different aerial acts, one throwing the other, one spinning off the other, not hitting a move.
This match was not a squash match.
No, and we thought it was. I thought it was going to be. But honest to God, it was one of the most exciting matches. It really finally, because I'm not really a social person. I'm very, like, to myself. And even there, people are cheering around me. And I just kind of, I'm that guy with my arms crossed and, like, a slight smile on my face. This match broke me out of that shell and brought me into the crowd and started to get me cheering and started to get, yelling out loud. And it was, like I said, one of the most exciting matches.
It was. And pun intended, it was like a shot of espresso.
Yes.
Like, for real. I cannot even tell you the amount of energy all of these guys brought. Fantastic match. Couldn't have brought in a better lineup of just people at this point. And I honestly, at this point, was like, there's nothing that's going to be better than this. Like, Dalton Castle, I had, like, a permanent smile on my face. So good. The way they come to the ring, the way they present themselves. Send me a boy, and then he fucking throws him one out to the ring to the left. He throws another one out to the right. Oh my God!
So
all
good.
Three. There's no like bottom tier guy in that group.
It is almost to the point of like where it's like Orange Cassidy, to where you don't realize how good of an act it is until you watch it, and on the outside you're like, this is the stupidest act. Like it's some guy
Peacock,
and his two. I don't know, groupie boys, and it looks like something that it is what it is, but it's such a good gimmick. It's so the crowd gets involved with it.
You can't hate the gimmick.
You can't. It's so exciting and
vibrant.
It's much like Willow. It just when her music plays, it's just like
yeah.
It's like, oh shit, like you just want to get up and like move around.
That's what happened here.
And he did that the entire match. Like, that was their gimmick,
the crowd.
Their entire thing.
It was not a wrestling match. It was
a performance.
It was a performance.
Well, I mean, that's what it is he's got peacock around, like,
wow.
He's sprinkling magic fairy dust on whatever.
I said he sprinkled ass dust.
So good.
I just can't say enough good things. Seeing it in person, even better than you could have imagined.
And I'm sure when they put it on TV, it's going to, or on demand or whatever you want to call it, it's going to look even better.
Oh,
because then you have, like, you can peel out the imperfections and just make it great.
Yep. Up next, we heard some unfamiliar music. I didn't really recognize it at first. There was the logo. It said SAP, and it immediately dawned on us, Spanish Announce Project.
Luther, is it? Yes, it's Luther.
Luther is my dude. Serpentico, my dude. Angelico, my dude.
You used to hate Angelico.
I used to hate Angelico. And I didn't like Jack Evans either. I didn't like not 2.0. What were they?
I don't even remember.
I didn't like
Doesn't
it.
matter.
I didn't get it. I'm sorry. I didn't understand them. Shaq Evans is one of the most talented guys to ever be in AEW. If you've never seen any of his stuff on like the independent circuit, great. Wow, he is so very fucking talented. And Helico was so good in this match. And he was one of the people that started off, I believe. The technicality on him is unreal. Serpentico's gear was so good.
Yes.
So good.
He looked like a neon rave Spider-Man.
Yeah. Luther was not in this match. Who did they end up facing?
Rouge and Dralistico.
Rouge and Dralistico.
You would have thought this would have been a match that you would have thought Rouge and Dralistico would have just absolutely destroyed these two guys.
This was a dark match. SAP would have got destroyed.
But it was not that. And I don't want to say who wins, but the combination of these four guys, like kind of that luchador technical style, I loved it.
It was
Dralistico,
so
entertaining. I hope we see more of him on either ROH or AEW or something, because my God, I love that guy. I want to see him. I want to see Rouge and Dralistico against the Lucha Brothers, honest to God.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, straight the fuck up.
Absolutely.
That would be a great match.
Obviously, Dralistico and Rouge had great vibe, between the two of them. They work well brothers together, of course. Jose the assistant was there. What a beautiful man in person. Jeez.
Yeah, see, we, here at A Coffee and Wrestling, we're an equal opportunity call out. I will call out gorgeous men and women, as will Jamie. We have no.
If you're a beautiful person,
if you're a beautiful fucking person, it's good to celebrate.
There was just
beauty.
A lot of beautiful people there,
and everybody's beautiful. I'll be that guy to do the cliche thing, and everybody's got good qualities about them. But sometimes you just see an individual, and you're like, God damn, you are just fucking pretty.
Yeah,
you know,
Jose the assistant, you have great skin.
Yes.
Wow.
Sweaty. Oh my God! For a man who just cheered on the side of a ring,
it was hot.
Although he did get jumped on a couple times. But that man was sweaty.
He was dripping.
That man his underwear
Rouge
should have been.
Rouge is a pretty sweaty guy too.
Yeah, but he comes out pre-sweaty.
Rouge, man, that intro was sick too.
Yeah. Their music come hard. I'm not gonna lie. We didn't see Brody King, and he's a mainstay of late ROH right before the pandemic. I was really hoping Brody King would come out, but
Same.
We didn't see that.
I was hoping for a Brian Danielson too, but
gotta give love to Serpentico. That man.
He kills it.
And there was another guy that I got to call out to.
Yeah, but real quick, Serpentico did get demasked. He had that embarrassing moment where you got to cover your face and run out of the ring.
Right. Oh, yeah. Rouge and Dralistico tore that shit in half, and I'm not going to lie, I was really hoping they were going to throw a chunk of that towards our way. They didn't.
That's okay, but you did see that he had like a gray beard pops out and like some curly hair in the back.
It looked very similar to another performer that ended up wrestling later on. I don't want to really ruin who he wrestled, because it would ruin a good popping portion of ROH. But his name was Ben, and you say, let's see, D-E-H-O, Ben Deho.
Yes.
Ben Deho was... God damn it.
He comes out, he's got like pants that like are definitely like
Los Luchadors on the side of his pants, or red pants. He's got a mask on his right side, and
everyone's like, who's this guy?
He looks like, honest to God, he looks like the drummer of 90% of the stoner bands I listen to.
Oh, really? I got Surge Tankin from System of a Down.
I was thinking the guitarist from Red Fang.
Okay.
The one with all the pedals?
Yeah.
Like before he got fully outgrown.
Okay.
Now we're getting really into a niche network of stoner metal and fucking coffee and wrestling.
It was just like a Puerto Rican guy that looked a lot like I said, I think like Surge from System of a Down, their singer.
But gotta give like unrelated individuals, but Bendejo? Bendejo?
Sorry, I can't even take it serious.
Bendejo and Serpentico?
Mark said his name. I was like,
oh my God.
Why are you saying that?
All right, so I had to pause it just so we can compose ourselves. We were laughing so hard.
Sorry.
So earlier today, we were looking at like, okay, I want to see like the guys that wrestled that didn't really get announced or we didn't get a good introduction to. I want to see who they were, just so we have an idea of who we're talking about when we record later. So I ended up looking it up, and we were like, man, who's that guy that this other guy wrestled? I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
Even like this, I don't want to ruin.
Yeah.
And Jamie realizes
I caught it last night though.
Yeah, Jamie realizes the guy in the red pants with no mask.
He's
that's Serpentico.
He's got the gray beard and the wavy hair. I'm like, that's fucking Serpentico.
So we're like, oh shit, okay, so he must have wrestled. He wrestled unmasked. Great, okay, well, obviously his name's going to be there. So I pull up the.
He didn't get an intro or anything.
No, he just got brought out. They didn't even announce him. Usually with like the guys that were jobbing out, they'd be like, in the ring is Marcus Cross and this guy Guillermo. This guy didn't get a name, nothing. So we get home and I'm like, oh, cool. Let me look up. And at this point, I'm looking up, the wrestling, the spoilers. And we go down and I'm like, oh, here, Google this name. And she's like, all right.
I don't even know what he's looking at.
Yeah, I was like, pull up Google for me. She's got Google. And I was like, first name Ben. She's like, okay. And I was like, last name Deho, Deho. And she types
J-O.
it. Or was it?
Dejo.
Dejo, that's right. And she types it in and starts laughing. She's like, why are you making me Google this? And I went, because that's his name? And she starts laughing harder. She's like, that's bitch in Spanish. And I was
like, that's pendejo. Like, put it together.
Oh my God. We must have.
The whole thing was just this
we
big
were
gimmick.
Dying laughing.
Serpentico's real name is John Cruz. So if you look it up, you can see like his real face.
But
and everything,
so you don't have to. So you don't look up his real name. He came up with Bendejo.
Yeah.
It was the great.
There was like this whole big thing. The reason we figured it out in the first place was because Nyla Rose and Serpentico have a fantastic relationship on Twitter.
That's right.
If you don't follow them on Twitter, I'm telling you, do it. They're so funny. They have a very Mia Yim, Shelton Benjamin-esque relationship where they kind of are just like, fuck you, I love you, but like, fuck you,
Right.
And somebody had said something about Serpentico and Nyla Rose, and then what did you end up reading that made you say that?
Somebody that I follow on my own personal Instagram had said something. Oh, I heard that she doesn't like that Bendejo guy that debuted on the ROH tapings. And I was like, oh, that must be that guy. And went, wait. And then it all kind of came together and we were laughing.
Serpentico's the
wrestling.
man. No, here's the great thing.
Serpentico's the shit. Here's the great thing,
which really put the nail in the coffin on this one. As he was walking out, again, we're so close. Mark walks over, kind of gives him a dap.
Gotta give him daps. Like one of my favorite stars in the AEW ROH universe right now.
100 losses, man. Like you gotta give
100 losses. Yeah, that's a record. Like what the fuck?
Losses in AEW. But he literally looked at Mark and was like, I'm back again.
It's
so it was
good.
like, yeah, that was totally Serpentico.
So good. And everybody sold it. It was great. And then, honest to God, up next we had one of the biggest surprises, if not the biggest surprise of the night. And if you watch Wrestle Kingdom, if you watch any NJPW,
if you watched Rampage,
this past week, you would have seen the United Empire's Aussie Open. And lo and fucking behold, we had Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus came out to the ring. I don't even know if they had it. Yeah, they had an entrance.
Yeah.
They came out to the ring, and then the United Empire entrance started playing, and
they didn't come out for a minute. So I was like, I think they're like
teasing it,
punked. Like we got punked,
but it was not. They came out, and the crowd went batshit. And wow. One of I feel like I've said this already. Wow, yeah, like that one guy was probably the best match of the night.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, besides the Claudio AR Fox match and the main event of the second show. Honest to God, this was my favorite match of the night. These four guys put on
Aussie.
Oi. They put on a hell of a match. Rhett Titus got tore up.
And again, this was not a squash match by any means. Let me tell you.
No, but I swear to God, Aussie Open was trying to make it a squash match.
They were trying to kill
Mark Davis. I swear to God, made Rhett Titus's chest go to the back of his fucking his body. My God, the slaps, the man meat that was slapping in that ring was deafening. Some of the hits that they did on Rhett, some of the fucking hits that they just did in general.
Yeah,
holy
they put those
shit.
Other two guys over so hard.
There was one chop that made me get out of my seat.
Oh yeah,
it was that whoa, God, it's still like reverberates.
There was a lot of chops.
You felt the bass. Like
Samoa Joe,
I feel like
definitely.
I'm overselling this, but.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Samoa Joe, I'm going to tell you what, Tony Deppen is
Joe chops trees.
Hurting.
Joe chops trees. But, yeah, this Aussie Open.
What a treat. Thank you,
Tony
Tony
Khan. I hope we see more in ROH AEW. I know they have no contract right now. They said once they left Wrestle Kingdom that was the last thing that they had booked, that they had nothing for the future, didn't know where things were going to go. And I am stoked to see them where they are. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent thing, if it's going to be a temporary couple months, if this was the last we saw of them.
Hopefully they'll be at Forbidden Door.
Oh my God, I hope.
June 24th.
I have grown to love the Japanese style of wrestling, and to finally look outside of the United States border and see like some of the wrestling that happens. DDT Pro just announced a bunch of shows that Eddie Kingston's going to be on. You've got, Rev Pro out in England. You've got, NJPW. You've got AJPW. You've got AAA.
Oh, I was going to say even AAA.
I mean, there's so much wrestling in different continents and different countries, and it's so good to see like a bunch of them kind of intermingling because it gives you the opportunity to go, well, who are these United Empire guys? Because you and I know we've I felt like the entire night we had like we knew who everybody was, and it felt good for once to be like, hey, we kind of know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's people out there that have not heard of the United Empire, and they just watch them wrestle, and they're like, oh, shit, they're really good. Like, I want to check them out. And it introduces you to an entire new world of wrestling, of a style
guys
of
like
wrestling.
Will Ospreay, guys like...
Oh, God, so good.
Minoru Suzuki, Okada. There's just so many guys. We were even talking about Brody King. Brody King has that strong style. Eddie Kingston has, like, that, style to where...
It's all from that Japanese traditional style, of strong style, or whatever you want to call it. There's so many different names for it. Purosa...
Yeah. Let me tell you what though, like some of these hits, you could just feel, in the crowd and your soul and your heart.
The breath.
You may have heard some of the whimpers from some of these people, like we said, Tony Deppen.
Oh yeah.
That man. And actually, we missed a match, but Slim J did come out at one point again, and his chest was lit up. And then when we realized what had happened to him, I understand.
So we're excited for that match. That one I don't want to say nothing about, but that one I'm excited about. We're leaving a big part out. That try not to give all the spoilers away.
Yeah. There's definitely some things that we want you to tune in, regardless, to find out. Let them, because they're building some things that are clearly going to be for this upcoming pay-per-view, which is Supercard of Honor, March 31st.
I believe we saw at least 2 matches that are be set up for that.
And if you haven't watched an ROH pay-per-view, again, we're not being like paid to fucking say this or anything. The last 2 ROH pay-per-views have been my favorites of the year, like above WWE, AEW, even almost like equal to Forbidden Door. I think that was my favorite pay-per-view last year. Absolutely incredible. So definitely make sure that you're watching that, because they'll probably defend every title, just like I think they defended every title between what we watched the first and second night.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I also have to give you a lot of props, Mark, because when I was getting ready yesterday for the event, I have probably 20, 30, maybe like 20 wrestling shirts in the closet. What do I wear?
It's like when you go to a concert, you can't, like, you got to be that guy. Like, it's a standard operating procedure that there's like a period in your life you have to wear. If you're going to a wrestling show, you got to wear a wrestling shirt. If you're going to go to a concert, you got to wear a music shirt. If you're going to go to a roller derby event, you got to wear your favorite roller derby.
It just makes sense. So it's like, what are you going to wear?
I'm going to go to, wear my Bruins jersey, although this time I might wear my Descendants jersey. Got a sweet Descendants jersey in the mail the other day.
Tell you.
Oh, God, I love it. But I'm going to wear my Bruins jersey if we ever, when next time we go to a Lightning game.
Nice.
Fuck the Lightning.
What
go
did
Bruins.
you wear? The Malachi Black?
I wore the Brody King Violence's.
Oh, yes.
Number 1.
Very nice. You're hoping for a Brody King.
You got to rep.
I mean, I think you wore the Brody King, hoping for Brody King, and I wore the Willow Nightingale, hoping I would get to see Willow. And
we definitely fucking did.
I got to see Willow.
We got to see 2
matches.
We
talked about energy, and again, you see things on TV, and you're like, wow, it seems like these people have some really good energy. Willow knows how to work a crowd.
Oh, yes.
And she actually did a match with Lady Frost on the first episode.
Big spoiler there.
Ooh.
No, you're good.
Too much? You're
good.
Too
No.
much.
But if Lady Frost did debut in ROH, I don't know if it's her debut.
Yeah.
But I know there's been a little hemming and hawing about Lady Frost. She just not too long ago ended up not being happy with Impact Wrestling and ended up getting her contract frozen. She was kind of not allowed to do much for like a year or so, and just recently has been able to get back into it. So good to see Lady Frost back in the mix of things. She's an amazing performer.
So good.
My God, it's
wow. She makes things look effortless.
Oh yeah,
and her and Willow vibed really well, so we got to see that. But Willow actually said she wanted to, have a really big opponent. She thought that she was worthy of being able to fight a big opponent, and
I mean, I don't know about big, but definitely a strong opponent. She challenged Athena.
Wow. Athena at first was like, nah, I'm not doing it. Classic heel.
That was the first episode.
Yeah. But again, here we go. We got to see, hey, next week I'm going to fight you. And
then lo and behold, they announced it that was your main event.
Yeah.
That was the last match,
which is really cool.
Watch. Oh my God.
I always love to see a women main event, which is really nice that they
it was especially a women's championship match. I love that they're elevating the championship to where it's just as important
equal
as the ROH, because the night before, that was the ROH
Claudio.
World Championship. It was Claudio and AR Fox. That's the main event.
Right.
And then the second show, you have the main event, which is Willow versus Athena for the women's championship match. And these two, my God, not going to talk about who wins, but regardless of who did win, Athena beat the shit out of Willow.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel bad for saying this because Willow is my girl. I danced and sung your praises and told you I loved you. But I was like, damn, I can't wait to see that on TV.
100%.
Because I couldn't see a lot from where you were. Live, you miss a lot of stuff. So I know I missed some.
They had some outside of the ring spots. They had
up the ramp. Athena was like, I'm going to leave.
It was a really, really good match. These two, I mean, Athena, we've watched a couple matches. She is a hard-hitting girl.
She works the crowd.
And Willow, I think when you first initially see her, with the bubbly attitude, and she's in there, she's dancing and smiling. When she was with Lady Frost, she was like kind of like poking at her.
Dance, come on, dance.
Yeah, like, let me see what you got. And then when you see something like that, you're like, okay, she's, a wrestler, but she's not like, she's kind of a dainty. This girl took a beating.
Oh, yeah.
A full-grown man. Oh, yeah, 100%. But I mean, it would have put any other individual like on their ass. Like I'm sure both of these girls are sore the next morning.
And both so unbelievably strong.
Oh, yeah.
Just powerhouses.
That
and
Dr.
here we
bomb
go again.
That she hits on everybody for her finisher.
God.
Talking about Willow.
Intense. And again, here we are once more. WWE let this girl go.
100%.
They let this girl go because
100%.
they didn't see that energy with Athena. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, and I'll pull it up. I'm
formerly Ember Moon.
I'm a straight white male, so everything I say comes. I have to be very careful with what I say, but I'm very, very happy to see that a wrestling promotion is taking individuals, whether they be men, women, or indifferent, and putting different body types with the championship.
Oh, because, for
sure. Athena's not your classic super thin model, tits to the moon with ass and she's a normally built individual. She's somebody that isn't the stereotypical like WWF attitude women's Sable, Trish Stratus, and same thing with Willow. She's, a bigger girl, but it's good to see that they're doing that with this, that it's not your somebody like Scarlett Bordeaux with the championship all the time.
Exactly. The pin-up.
You're Nevin
Playboy.
Piper Nevin.
Piper
Nevin. Oh my God. Same thing. Like they're promoting individuals that are not that cliche wrestler, that are not that mainstream beauty standard, and it's I'm very proud to see that it's great in wrestling
and
where
you can tell the
it's
individual
not a thing anymore.
No, and the individuality is there.
Yes.
The cool thing about Athena, she does a lot of her own entrance gear and things like that. Like that's really cool. They haven't asked her to like change who she is.
Right.
Who she came in day one is who she is day now.
Yep.
And I really like that about AEW. It feels like Tony Khan's like, bring who you are.
Right.
We like who you are. We're not really asking you to like change who you are.
And it feels like in WWE they'll take you out of the indies, or they'll take you out of like the scene, and they'll
even
put
though
you
something's
in like, all right,
worked.
well, now we're going to change you.
Even though it worked so well,
Yep.
like Piper Nevin, like that worked so well. Why didn't we just stay with that?
When she was Viper, my God, she was vicious.
Yeah.
And the indie work she's done.
It's like Asuka. Again, we didn't say we weren't going to talk about WWE, but it's like Asuka. If they let that happen, look at what it's done. So
Right.
It's like when you let people be creative and who they are, they shine. These two girls are so unique, but just like a breath of fresh air. It's like this is like the next generation of wrestling. I loved it.
I did too. So overall, ROH recordings for Saturday, they were great. If you ever get a chance, 10 out of 10, if you ever get a chance to go, I think we ended up seeing a total of 14 matches. There was 16 on the card. If you ever get a chance to go to them, it's $20 to get in. The arena is really easy to find, as much as we kind of made it sound like it was a pain in the ass to get to. That was
just a far walk.
That was just our circumstances.
Get there early.
Get great seats. It doesn't matter where you get seats. They're awesome seats no matter what.
They're also doing AEW Dark there as well.
Yep. I know they've been doing that for a little bit there. It seems like they're going to continue to do that, especially if they're going to be filming ROH.
Now they're asking for people to pay for AEW Dark, which they didn't before, which I think is a good move because now you're getting fans. Not just people that happen to be there that are like, oh, a wrestling match.
But as it gets more popular, you know, you're going to need to do that. Like, you're going to need to pay these performers that are wrestling on. But so it's understandable, and it's it's negligible. Like, honest to God, a $20, like you and I, we kind of were able to make it to a date night that night or last night. You know, we were able to go down and do some wrestling. And honest to God, the tickets
get some chicken nuggets.
They were $20 each. The gas we spent is probably $25. So under $100, we go down there and get some food and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
we got 4 hours of honest to God, like pay-per-view quality wrestling
in one of the chillest like environments.
Yeah.
Like even the atmosphere, like the actual like the temperature in there was a nice cool temperature. We felt the air conditioning running. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't cold. It was clean. It was really
it
was a really great
clean
experience. I am super excited that they're doing it in Orlando. It allows us to be able to get there with a 2-hour drive. It's not that big of a deal. It's a drive that we end up making
we're lucky.
numerous times.
We were so lucky to be able to be there. I think Coffee and Wrestling has to say thank you, Tony Khan. You blessed us with an incredible
100%
first night and I guess second week of wrestling as far as Coffee and Wrestling goes. We were able to be there, so
yes,
we enjoyed the absolute crap out of it.
Next time we'll be there, we will definitely have some type of visual representation.
We will be back, yes.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
But besides that, all we have this week, we got...
Let's talk about some of the upcoming matches that AEW and WWE have scheduled. We have a WWE Raw, which will be debuting the night that this podcast goes live. On WWE Raw, so far, we have, speaking of Piper Niven, she will be fighting Candice LeRae.
Right.
Asuka will be taking on Carmella. What is this, all the women's? This is just only women's matches. I just noticed that.
Yeah, this is the only ones they've announced. And this
they're all
is
women's.
The second individual of the Elimination Chamber roster.
Yeah,
that
Asuka versus
will be
Carmella.
taking on.
Yep.
And
also, again, women's Damage Control, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai will be taking on Becky Lynch and Lita.
They'll be defending their WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, which is probably the first time that they've defended their championships in a legitimate match. I don't remember when the last time they defended their titles, so it's good to see somebody actually doing something with these titles. I don't know if I'd like to see the titles go on Lita and Becky Lynch. I don't know.
It just seems too on the nose.
Yeah.
It just seems too obvious. But you're trying to put these two girls over. You let them have a really good match, and you let Io and Dakota Kai win.
Right.
I'm just throwing out my opinions. But yeah, it looks like at least 3 women's matches will be happening on Raw. And let me say, I haven't been necessarily the biggest fan of Raw over the last few weeks. It's been a little bit hard to get through. So hopefully we'll get some good matches that actually happen.
Hopefully.
Asuka's always entertaining. So we also have Mark's going to lead us into the Dynamite matches that we have so far for the week.
So far, they've only announced 1 or 2. We've got Casino Tag Team Battle Royale to decide the final pair of individuals that will be fighting in the 4-way tag match at AEW Revolution.
Oh, that was impressive. You got that all out. Now, these are really fun, though, the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale.
And I don't think
Tony Khan likes these gimmick matches.
And I'm sure you can just pick every tag team that's in the back between Butcher and the Blade, Private Party, if Mark Quinn's doing better, Best Friends. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of, same people.
What's fun about this, though, is they do, basically suits. So you'll have the diamonds come in, and then you'll have the hearts and whatever order it is. That's how the people
prior
come
with
in.
The battle royale, everybody starts out at once. This is and people come out depending on whose card is called.
Yeah, and usually there's always a joker, so you get a surprise tag team, which is the big thing, obviously.
We will also be hearing from MJF and Bryan Danielson, which I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about that all the way up to Revolution with their 60-minute Iron Man match that they have scheduled.
I'm really excited about that.
We'll also be seeing, of course, I already know who's going to win this. It's Peter Avalon is going to absolutely wipe the floor with Chris Jericho.
He is.
So we got Chris Jericho and Peter Avalon taking on one-on-one action.
Have you seen Peter Avalon?
Oh, yeah. It's great. He looks awesome. I miss the hair. Peter. I have nightmares late at night when I know that his hair is no longer there.
It's a sad story, but just do know that this is an underrated wrestler in Peter Avalon, and hopefully Chris Jericho will put him over as he has been putting over all the wrestlers that he's been fighting over the last few weeks. We also have Toni Storm taking on Rio, which should be
a fantastically
hard-hitting
good wrestler.
She is the size of our daughter, but fights like a full-grown man.
Yes,
like a cornerback or something. It's really impressive.
I hope that's the right football term. We're not much of a sports.
Yeah, I played football. Cornerback is a thing.
Sports balls. In soccer, right?
I played football too. Did you not know that?
I don't know anything.
We've been together for 12 years. You didn't know I played football?
I didn't know you exist before these 12 years.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I played football after I. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
In my world, if you're not in my life on a constant basis, I don't remember you.
I played soccer. I got hurt, so I played football for a little bit. Was the only girl
I feel like that's
on
ass backwards.
multiple teams.
I was playing soccer, got
Sounds
hurt
weird,
playing
right?
soccer, so I decided to take up an even more contact sport.
Believe it or not, it was a lot less contact than you would believe.
See, I told you football
compared
players were
to
pussies.
soccer is
I
gnarly.
got toe turf.
Soccer's
turf toe.
gnarly,
I'm out for 9
man.
weeks.
I gave a girl a concussion. This is just shinfo.
You
A
tried
girl a
killing people in
concussion.
hockey,
I
or
broke
soccer.
somebody's nose and broke her glasses. I mean, I'm talking. I was like 10 years old.
This is the person that I married and I have to deal with. I can't argue with this. This entire podcast is her idea. I have no say in any of it. Please help me. Call help. Help. We also will be seeing Hook will be defending his FTW championship. Forgot a syllable in there.
Yeah, but against Matt Hardy. Like I really like this.
Do you think he's going to get him even more broken?
Yes,
God,
I think it is to develop
back.
Matt Hardy, but I like that Hook is facing, and I don't want to say a real opponent because that's rude. These other people are clearly opponents that he faces, but this is a 30-year veteran, Matt Hardy.
Somewhere around there, 25, 30, something like that.
You know, like obviously this guy knows what he's doing. He's in a position like Chris Jericho
to
where he can really put over Hook.
10th of his career.
Like we're gonna have Hook like German suplexing Matt Hardy.
Fuck yeah. Gotta put his hand up over so he doesn't break his neck.
Yeah,
we're also going to see Orange Cassidy defending his All-Atlantic title against Big Bill.
Wow.
Big old Bill.
Big old Billy Bill.
And then finally we have one of the most exciting matches that you usually put on TV, the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which we just, as we were recording, the announcement of who's going to be involved. Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, Action Andretti, Eddie Kingston, Sammy Guevara, Commander Ortiz, and your personal favorite, AR Fox.
I mean, though, but like he's in a group with Takeshita.
Wait a minute, that's 8 motherfuckers. Hold the fuck on.
Hobbs, like
they usually do 6.
Has
it been 8? Was it 8 last
honestly, God,
year?
I don't remember. Well, the match that happened at Revolution was a ladder match. Will Hobbs was in it.
That's right. They moved it.
That was who won, right? Was Will Hobbs?
Yes. Will Hobbs
when
won.
we went to see last year at Revolution.
Yep.
So usually they have the Face of the Revolution ladder match at Revolution, but for some reason it's actually happening on Dynamite. The winner of this will face Samoa Joe for his TNT championship, and he will actually be on
the King of TV.
Yeah, he will actually be on commentary for this, which is going to be an absolute blast.
Which I love having people like Joe on there who are very knowledgeable about
very seasoned pro,
not just like the art of pro wrestling, but like the art of joint manipulation and actual like
it's like Taz, he really knows what he's talking about.
They can actually break things down, and you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt because it's wrestling, but at the same time they really do a great job like making it feel real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
I remember one of the first episodes of Dynamite that you and I personally had ever watched. I thought it was like something they did every week. I was like, this is so cool. They had this segment with Taz.
The Taz breakdown?
Where he like literally like showed
Taz technical breakdown or something like that.
And he like showed how like the submission move actually was like painful
they broke
and like
it down,
how you move.
Yeah, they break it down like John Manor would with football plays. Like you see right here how he's twisting his wrist while he's pulling. It's creating additional tension on the nerves on the outside, on the perineal. And he really breaks down and actually uses real medical terms. It was really fun. I wish they would do more of that.
Yeah, I thought that was a staple. So this is what I imagine this is going to be with Samoa Joe and probably Taz on commentary here.
Right. We also have Commander. If anybody didn't know, because we didn't know who it was initially, he's never been in AEW before, so this will be his debut into AEW.
He's from AAA, right?
He is an up and coming AAA star. I've seen a few of his matches, one of those ones where I didn't know who he was, and he was facing individuals, and a very impressive aerial.
High flying, okay.
Oh, my God. These 8 guys, let's see. You got AR Fox, Ortiz. Yeah, I mean, everybody
AR
on
Fox,
here.
like,
Sammy Guevara,
great.
of course. He's mad, like, just batshit crazy.
The cutters.
Eddie Kingston will do anything for a pop.
Yep. Oh, and I didn't even really think about this. Eddie Kingston and Ortiz are in this.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Didn't put two and two together there. I mean, obviously, Sammy Guevara's had some beef with Eddie Kingston.
Yep.
So there's like some good, interesting little layers. And then you've got like Action Andretti, who would have beef with JAS.
Sammy Guevara, they have a match, I believe, this Friday? I don't know. Didn't they have a match together?
Who's that?
Sammy Guevara and Action Andretti. Actually, that was on this past Rampage.
Yes, actually,
that's right.
That just happened this last week. So yeah, there's some interesting layers. I think they throw Takeshita and Hobbs in there, but what was interesting about the Revolution.
Just because Takesha's fucking amazing.
The Revolution that we were at last year was a lot of big meaty men. I think it was Wardlow. It was
Wardlow. Hobbs,
Keith Lee.
Those are your big meaty men that were throwing each other around.
So we were like, wow, ladder match with some big dudes. But I think Powerhouse Hobbs he's got some ladder match experience, obviously. Yep. I think he'll bring something interesting into it. Maybe that's why he's here, is because he was the winner last year. And I think that means you carry into it.
It's going to be a great match.
The next one.
It's going to be a really good match. But yeah, that's what's
Let's go AR.
That's what's coming this week. All right, well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us for another episode of Coffee and Wrestling. This is going to bring our Ring of Honor Saturday Orlando taping episode to an end. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast at ROH. We hope you enjoyed listening about it. We can't wait to watch it again later this week on the Honorclub. Like I said, check it out. It's only $10. It's not that big of a deal. You spend $10 on worse shit in the course of a month, so you can spend $10
a couple Starbucks coffees,
it's like 3 sodas, 2 if you work at where I do. But thank you again for listening to us. Make sure you follow us on our social medias at CAW Wrestling Pod on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Every one of the podcasts that we do post end up being transcribed into a video, and it is posted on our YouTube. So if you would rather check out our podcast that way, go on our YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at Gunk Dudley.
I am at A Bacon Party. We usually live tweet all AEW, WWE, pay-per-view, and premium live events.
ROH and NJPW included. DDT Pro's coming up with one. Which
whatever's good.
I have a weird feeling that I'm going to end up purchasing, because it's got, like I said, it's got some AEW stars, and one of my personal favorites from DDT Pro, Chris Brooks. He will be wrestling with, I can't remember the name of it, but the mannequin.
My God, that
Kenny
Omega fought.
wrestled. And honest to God, if you haven't watched that match, you need to go and watch that match.
I could sit here and do an entire 45-minute. I didn't understand it. Okay, I just randomly showed it to Mark one day. I was like, "Who is this guy facing this mannequin?" And it never dawned on me until the end. I watched it 3 times. It was Kenny Omega.
Short-haired Kenny Omega.
It was Kenny Omega.
Great match.
How do you put over a fucking mannequin?
Because the mannequin hit the gnarliest moves on Kenny Omega. It was the greatest thing. He almost pinned him. But he did not kick out of the one-winged angel. Even the mannequin didn't
Only
kick
Kenny
out.
Omega has kicked out of a one-winged angel.
It's great. But thank you so much for joining us again. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
If you've made it this far, you're great.
At CAW Wrestling Pod. You can find all of our podcasts on iTunes, isn't what they call it anymore, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora.
I heard YouTube's going to be doing podcasts.
YouTube. You can find us on AM radio, 43,000 kilohertz. You can find us on, I'm just kidding. Just listen to us. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure when you do listen to us, take a screenshot. Tag us on your preferred Instagram profile or Twitter or whatever. I'm losing control here.
And hey,
we will shout you out.
Also, only cool kids give us 5-star ratings on Spotify. Just saying.
Yeah, please do. Go on Apple Music. Whatever. God damn it, that's stupid. They need to go back to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. Tell them that we are the most amazing thing you've ever listened to, and that you love us, and give us all your money. Don't give us all your money.
Give us a Danhausen.
Give us
really
a like.
Needs that blimp.
Give us a like. Give us a 5-star. Give Danhausen his 5-star blimp. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you next time.